All right, we're live. So, hey, class, I'm here with He is the co-restaurant in Philadelphia named Urban Quality Eats. So, as you know, on Project 2, we're talking about ingredients, and we're working with a chef. And so we have an awesome chef here. So, Khalif, welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Awesome. So, can you just kind of introduce yourself? Tell us what you do and how you came to that position.
Yeah, so I'm the co-founder of Urban Quality Eats. It's a healthy, fast casual restaurant in Philadelphia. We've been open for about 4 months at our store here in University Cities in West Philadelphia. What we do is we serve home style type food made from fresh, nutritious ingredients. So it's a way to eat healthy without necessarily having to eat a salad or something cold. Just regular food that you like that tastes good, but made from scratch using wholesome stuff.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So before you came to that position, did you work in the restaurant industry before?
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about how I got here. So I'd never worked in a restaurant before I started down this journey. I went to undergrad at Morehouse in Atlanta, did economics, and I worked in finance for 5 years. Went to business school in Philadelphia, and right before I went to business school, I started getting into health and wellness and nutrition from a food standpoint. And I kind of had a frustration point of not being able to find food that I thought tasted good that was also healthy when you were eating out. So when you eat at home, you can make whatever you want. When you dine out, it's kind of like you're either going to sacrifice flavor or you're going to sacrifice nutrition. There never seemed to be a good balance. And so I'm like, all right, that's not a problem for me. A lot of people think the same way. The nation needs better food. So that's kind of how I got started on this journey. One of my classmates had a similar idea, and so we kind of joined forces to make it happen. And so, yeah, we ended up teaming up with a chef because neither one of us are like we're not chefs. So we cook a little bit, but we needed a chef to help us make the food real and like make it proper. And so, so now it's the three of us, and we're fortunate enough to have opened and gotten some pretty good feedback so far, and a lot of loyal customers. So that's kind of how we got here. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So when you say fresh ingredients, what does that mean?
Yeah, so we cook everything from scratch for the most part in our restaurant. The only things we don't make from scratch are like plantain chips, cookies, and some of the the bottled drinks we get from bottled water and stuff. So for us, fresh means it's in its raw form. So whether it's chicken or steak, we get the meat in, we cut it, we get salmon in whole fillets, and we slice them and weigh them out, that kind of thing. And we season all of our marinades and stuff. We make our marinades in-house. All our sauces are made in-house. All our spice mixes. So, it's just cooking. It's cooking from the ground up. So for fresh, yeah, we get things from purveyors that are as fresh as can be in the restaurant industry, and we're running through food every day. So we don't have a freezer, so we can't freeze anything. It's just we get food in, we cook it as fast as we can, and we kind of have to monitor things that we don't order too much at a time because food will go bad and it's not servable. But fresher the food is, the better it tastes. So that's what we try to do.
So when you have these fresh ingredients, how do you decide what dishes to make?
Yeah. So the way we thought about the menu is, I'll tell you about the format of the menu. Yeah. So I'll tell you about like the format of what it is and then how we came to that point. So what we wanted to do is cater to the masses. So we wanted to make a restaurant that, was healthy, but the food could appeal to people just based off of how it tasted or how it looked. So we didn't want to have like, all right, it's this healthy sandwich, but it looks weird, or it's like made from this random stuff I never heard of before. Like a lot of people don't want to eat that. They're like, man, I just want chicken and rice, like some good vegetables and a sauce. That's how we thought the menu should be. And then Amir and I was a co-founder with me. We went through a lot of cooking in our houses, like a lot, just trying different things out, and did taste tests with friends and family. We would test 3 different types of chicken at a time, 3 different types of sweet potatoes at a time, 3 different types of rice at a time, and just tried to use customers' feedback or potential customers' feedback to tell us what direction the menu should head in. And that's kind of how we got started with figuring out what should be on the menu. And that's still sort of the process we use now to determine that. And then this first thing is like the food has to be appealing to people. So that's the first thing we always think of. And then it's like, all right, well, we're talking about healthy food. Nutrition is important to us. What's the nutritional profile of the food? We want to make sure that that integrity is always there too. So, for example, we could serve white rice, or we could serve some other type of rice. We think we should have rice because a lot of people like to eat rice, but we serve something called red rice, which has like more fiber and antioxidants than brown rice. Tastes a little bit better. It's more nutritious than white rice. So that's kind of like, all right, balance of it's common, it's nutritious, it's a little bit different. Then we look at price and availability too. That's another big thing. Some things, are very healthy or are very popular, but they could be expensive to serve at what our price point is. So we try to keep the price per meal like around $10, and the best selling items we have are like $7 to $8 type items, a chicken plate and our vegan plate. So we have to make sure that we can make the food and sell it at a reasonable price while still making a margin that works for us too. So we don't want to have expensive items because then people won't come that frequently. So you have to be able to source it right and get it at the right price, and it has to be readily available like all year round. Another thing that we look at too, I guess, is the last thing is how the food holds up over time in our format. So we're kind of like a Chipotle style model where right now there's an assembly line or Subway, Chipotle, whatever. People walk down the line, they're like pointing at the food like, hey, I want that side, I want that protein and that base, and they can see it. So our food has to be able to sit and hold well, like either in heat or cold without deteriorating. So there's some things that would be nice to serve. Like, for example, our steak. So our steak, it'd be nice to just be able to cook steak once an hour and just have it sit there, but it'll get like overcooked or it won't taste that good. So we're constantly having to cook steak like every 2 to 3 minutes on the grill and then put it out for customers, or we cook it to order when it slows down. So, thinking about how foods hold up over time with heat, that's another thing, or heat or cold or whatever temperature you need, that's another factor to consider. So give you one more example. At one time we were thinking about making like a sweet potato hash, which is like supposed to be crispy, but it's hard to keep food crispy for more than like 5 or 10 minutes. So we decided to not sell that, and we served mashed sweet potatoes instead. So pretty much same nutrition, similar item, but the quality of the food for our type of service, which is a quick service restaurant, is better than the mashed sweet potatoes holds up better over time than the crispy potatoes do.
So with every season, I guess you're changing menu items.
Yeah.
Depending on available. Can you talk about when you decide to change things, or if you?
Yeah, so right now we're changing stuff every season. We only have one season change so far, so it's only been one change. But there are two main reasons why we want to change seasonal items seasonally. One is just to keep it interesting for customers, so they have something new to look forward to. Some restaurants have the same menu all the time, and it works for them, like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's, whatever. It's always the same thing. Sometimes they bring in new options though, and it kind of piques interest and brings people back in who might not have been there for a while, or it keeps people interested and keep coming back like, oh, what are they going to have next? Just new flavors. So that's just a product differentiation thing. And the second thing is some products aren't available year round at the same quality or price, or available at all. So for example, we have Brussels sprouts. Was like the most popular side item, roasted Brussels sprouts, in the first few months. And we got these baby Brussels sprouts. They're small and they roast up really nice. But it's easy to cook them all the way through because they're smaller. But they went out of season and we can't really get them at all. If we do, the price is going to be high and the quality is going to be low. So like, all right, we had to change that out for broccoli. So Brussels sprouts is an example of something that was available, then it wasn't available anymore to us to buy, and so we had to switch it to something new. So, and that's kind of how a lot of products go. They're seasonal. Brussels sprouts is fall and winter. We switched it to broccoli. Broccoli is pretty much available year round from where we get it. But certain things like kale or asparagus is in the season now in New Jersey, which is real close to us. So we're starting to get New Jersey asparagus, and that's the side item we have now too. So it's the customer, giving customers something new, and then also like a product availability and pricing thing too.
Okay. So there's a lot of decisions being made, and so we have a bunch of data science and analytics students. So
Yeah.
just to kind of spur their interest a little more in maybe a startup, would it be helpful to have a system that automatically decides or understands, these pros and cons of the different markets and helps you choose your menu items? Or is
Yeah,
there too much you think it's even possible?
that would be helpful for sure. I guess so. I guess I'll think about some of the data that we use. So on our cash register, we have the ability to track like items that people order, and so we know what the most popular items are. You can track the side items versus the sauces, and you kind of use that to determine, all right, what's selling, what's not. Real basic data, nothing fancy. And then sometimes we do like a special event or a focus group, and we will get people's insights that way, back on what they like and what they don't like. And then try to use those decisions or that information to make a decision. I talked about price already, but if there was some kind of software that collected all this data from either the state or the city or maybe even the whole nation on what people's preferences were for different menu items, different flavors, that would be really helpful. I know there are some. I think there are a few out there, but they're pretty expensive for a startup like us to access. If there was something more affordable, especially with like the growing interest in food. Like they're like celebrity chefs now. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago. And people are really into food. There's like Whole Foods and all these like fancy places that get the average person really involved in what their food is. That would be helpful to know like what people are buying, where the trends are in flavors or ingredients or even like specific things around health and wellness that are readily available to the average restaurant, which is, a mom and pop restaurant, so they can make good menu decisions.
That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking out some time to talk with us.
Yeah, no problem.
So can you tell us again how we can look up your restaurant and if we're in Philadelphia, how we could visit?
Yeah, so it's Urban Quality Eats. It's spelled like Herban, Herban, to play on words. So herbanqualityeats.com is the website. If you're in Philly, just come over to West Philadelphia, right between Drexel University and University of Pennsylvania. You can find us 36th and Market. Yeah, open for lunch and dinner, breakfast soon. Yeah, the food tastes good. It's affordable and it's healthy. It's like you can't go wrong.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Khalif.
Yep, no problem. All right.
All right, bye.
Take care.